fight is September between the two great fighters in our generation, Canelo Alvarez and Crawford.
With 2 times undisputed champion, and I'm grateful to fight here in Saudi Arabia. And thank you everybody for coming to support me, my family, my friend, everybody.
Did Terence Crawford just shake the boxing world to its core? Absolutely. That training video he dropped wasn't just a clip, it was a declaration of war. It hit the internet like a thunderclap, sending shockwaves through gyms, Twitter feeds, and Canelo Alvarez's camp. This wasn't just a warm-up or promotional tease. Crawford delivered a message fast, fierce, and furious that he's not climbing up to 168 pounds just to test the waters. He's coming to take the throne.
Yeah. Like always I say, Viva Mexico, cabrones!
It's a new experience for you, fighting in Saudi Arabia for the first time, fighting at 6 a.m. probably for the first time. How did your body adjust during this fight?
No, I come 3 weeks before because of that.
Come fight night, Allegiant Stadium won't just host a match, it'll erupt like a volcano. Two giants will clash, one with overwhelming power, the other with world-breaking precision. Crawford already owns the headlines. If he backs it up in the ring, he'll own history. So now, the table is set. Training clips dropped. Game plans locked. Fans worldwide on edge. This isn't just the fight of the year, it's a legacy-defining collision. One built on dominance, the other on defiance. And if you're not watching, you're missing the moment boxing changes forever.
Everybody is asking for the fight. My Nino Turkey Al-Ashi won it, so that's why we are here.
Congratulations, Canelo. Brilliant performance.
Thank you.
Right now, the boxing world is holding its breath. Every sparring update, every leak clip, every trainer comment is scrutinized like scripture. This isn't hype, it's prophecy. Dana White jumping in only adds fuel when the UFC kingpin launches his boxing brand with this fight. It's not just about belts. It's about making moments. Saudi Arabia is pushing the boundaries with spectacle and money, turning this fight into an event that feels more like Hollywood than boxing. But at the center of it all, Crawford remains focused, still, grinding through every doubt. He's not afraid of Canelo's size, he's treating it like a puzzle to solve. That's what makes him truly dangerous. Because when you stop fearing the monster starts fearing you.
It will be in the stadium in Las Vegas in the 12th of September, inshallah.
Crawford's entire career has been a fight for respect. They said his wins didn't count. Then he dismantled Errol Spence and silenced the sport. Now he's chasing an even bigger mountain and not blinking once. That's the difference between great and legendary. Canelo used to be the one hunting legends. Now the roles are reversed. And if Crawford pulls this off, if he beats Canelo at 168, he'll force the sport to rewrite its history books. We're not talking a new chapter. We're talking a whole new volume. Not even Pacquiao or Mayweather pulled this off. This isn't just climbing Everest, it's scaling Olympus with your hands tied. And don't think Canelo isn't feeling the pressure. He's proud of what he's built. But now Crawford wants to carve his name over it, and that war has already begun.
To this time, everything, I'm okay. I'm a champion. I'm a professional, so that's no excuse and anything.
You knew what was coming if you won this fight. That was a crack at this man.
Yeah.
2-time undisputed champion, Bud Crawford. How are you feeling about that fight?
No, I feel good.
Let's go back to Lester Martinez. That man isn't just a sparring partner, he's a wrecking ball in gloves. He's not sharpening Crawford's skills, he's testing his limits. It's like Crawford is preparing for Godzilla by sparring King Kong. There's no tiptoeing into the division. No, let's see how it feels. This is a full-scale invasion, and what's Canelo doing? Staying cool, as always. But deep down, even he knows this challenge is different. Crawford isn't a gimmick. He's real. He's hungry, and maybe even more dangerous than ever. Most fighters get called out by influencers. Crawford's coming with venom, a resume of destruction, and a mission to topple a dynasty.
It's September between the two great fighters in our generation, Canelo Alvarez and Crawford.
That training video wasn't just hype, it was a shockwave. It looked like a crime scene in motion. Every punch landed like a felony. His footwork could have put ballet dancers to shame. Trainers were pausing the footage like, did he just slip a punch from a ghost? Meanwhile, Canelo is probably watching that same video in silence, fists clenched, wondering if he's fighting a man or a myth. Crawford's not putting on a show, he's issuing a survival challenge, and Canelo knows it. This isn't a cash grab, it's a moment in history. One fan said it best, Canelo better pack a parachute, Crawford's taking him on a free fall through. Hell,
I've been in the ring with Crawford too.
Oh shit! I didn't know you sparred, bro.
I got Crawford ready for when he fought Sean Porter.
Okay.
I've been for a few weeks. What do I think of that fight?
Yeah.
I think that everybody knows that Crawford got the skills. I do think that Canelo's a little big. He's a little big for Crawford. It'll be a tall task for him to win.
and now, here we are. Crawford isn't chasing fame or checks, he's fighting to prove a point, that he's the best fighter alive, and to do it, he chose the most dangerous man in the room. Canelo accepted, not just for the payday, but because he knows Crawford's belief isn't a gimmick, it's real. This fight might be closer than anyone expects. Canelo will press early, aim to break down Crawford's body and impose his size. Crawford will slow the pace, pick his angles, and look to unravel Canelo's rhythm. It's brute force versus brilliance, power versus precision, and if this is Bud's final act, he's chosen a mountain few dare climb, and that's exactly what might make him unstoppable.
Here it is, the official face-off. The date, September 12, Allegiant Stadium, Las Vegas, Nevada, USA. For the undisputed super middleweight championship of the world, Saul Canelo Alvarez.
But Crawford isn't Bivol. He's not a natural 175-pound technician. He's a former lightweight reshaping his body and game for war at 168. Every added pound is being tested under fire. Every muscle trained to move with his signature speed and sharpness. He's not bulking up to survive, he's transforming to win. The stage, Allegiant Stadium, Las Vegas, promoted by Dana White under the TKO banner. This fight is more than boxing, it's spectacle. With Saudi promoter Turki Al-Sheikh in the mix and whispers of a Netflix stream, this is the dawn of a new era. Canelo once dismissed this matchup as a no-win situation, but Turki made it happen anyway. Why? Because when legacy calls, logic takes a back seat.
You knew what was coming if you won this fight. That was a crack at this man.
Yeah.
Two-time undisputed champion, Bud Crawford. How are you feeling about that fight?
No, I feel great. Crawford is one of the best out there, and I like to share the ring with that kind of fighters, and it's my pleasure.
Now, let's talk about power. Crawford might not hit like a heavyweight, but he punches with meaning, and against Spence, that was enough to dismantle a bigger man. With Martinez pushing him in training, he's preparing to stun giants, not trade bombs. The goal isn't to overpower Canelo, it's to keep him honest, stay a step ahead, and outthink him minute by minute. Critics point to Canelo's history, his demolitions of Kirkland, Khan, and Smith, but Crawford isn't fazed. He's bold, maybe even reckless, and that's what makes him terrifying. He's stepping into a firestorm with gasoline boots, convinced he won't burn. Even Mitri Bivol, one of the few men to beat Canelo, sees in Crawford the kind of icy mindset it takes to win.
You came a long way to stare off with Canelo Alvarez. How are you feeling now that the fight's here?
I'm feeling great. I'm feeling blessed. And then, everything's happened for a reason. And there's a reason why I'm here. In September, I'm going to show the world what greatness look like.
Had a chance to scout Canelo over 12 rounds. What did you think of that performance?
Well, he did what he had to do to get the job done for what was in front of him.
Don't get it twisted, Canelo is no paper champion. His resume is stacked with elite names: Golovkin, Kovalev, Saunders, Plant, Smith, Lara. He's a certified Hall of Famer. You don't just show up and snatch Canelo's crown, but that's exactly what Crawford intends to do, and he's doing it with unnerving calm. Bomac has addressed the size gap, yes. Crawford will be smaller, but what Terence brings is something rare, an in-ring IQ that borders on the supernatural. He reads opponents like closed captions, adjusts in real time, and breaks down the best. Canelo is smart too. He's a master of pacing, pressure, and punishment, but Crawford isn't coming in blind. He studied the flaws, mapped the blueprint, and is now engineering the perfect storm.
Floyd, but he's like the new Floyd, you know what I'm saying? Except he's not like Floyd. He's very different than Floyd. I think he's probably better than Floyd Mayweather, to be honest. Floyd Mayweather in his prime. Terence Crawford, right off the bat, what hits me different is, you know, his backstory. His mom, like, really downed him and degraded him growing up. And he had that fire inside of him to really prove that he's...
Adding to the menace is Bomac's game plan. Instead of mimicking Canelo with a soft stand-in, they brought in Lester Martinez. If you don't know him, that's your problem, but Crawford's camp sure does. Martinez is an undefeated 168-pound knockout machine from Guatemala, and he's been throwing hell at Crawford every day in the gym. Each session is a crucible. Crawford isn't just training, he's surviving. While he's not flinching, he's thriving. This isn't camp, this is war prep. And Crawford isn't chasing belts anymore, he's chasing legacy. Having conquered 140 and 147, he's now attempting to become the first man in modern boxing history to go undisputed in 3 divisions.
Terence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez. This is probably the best fight right now in boxing, in my opinion. 2 high-level fighters. Canelo's been on top of the game for a long time. Terence Crawford, I think right now, is the best boxer. You know, he's it'll
be a lot to get that victory based on, you know, size alone. Not that size win fights, but you got a guy that got size and skill. It'll be hard. I mean, nothing's impossible. But if I had my money on somebody winning the fight, it'll be Canelo Alvarez, even though Terence Crawford is a great fighter.
The same man who once dazzled at 135, dominated at 140, and destroyed at 147 is now charging headfirst into Canelo Alvarez's backyard. And he did not politely, he brought a wrecking ball. Doubters are asking how a man who's never taken a punch from a legit super middleweight thinks he can win, let alone survive. But Crawford didn't just post fancy mitt work, he dropped a war film. Every clip showed intensity, precision, and destruction. In one moment, he floored a sparring heavyweight like it was choreographed. That wasn't just power, it was a calculated warning.